What is the difference between therapy and psychologist-apy and psychiatrist-apy?
Okay. Well, I'm not sure you said those words correctly, but...
Okay. Therapist, psychologist, and psychiatrist.
Okay. So a licensed therapist,
Yes.
all right, licensed therapist has a master's degree.
Okay.
And so and at this point...
However, therapists don't have to be licensed, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And so that's why I'm saying a licensed therapist has to have a master's degree at minimal, right? But we talked about this even last time. And so you have to go through a process of being licensed, right? So even though you have your master's degree in psychotherapy or in some form of therapy, doesn't mean that you're licensed at that point. Right. You actually have to go through the process of being licensed by your state. So licenses are given by the state, but all the states function under the same national umbrella.
Okay.
And so where a psychologist has their doctorate. So they have more than their master's. So
that's more than that?
That's correct. So it's more than a master's. So they've got their PhD, or they may call it a Psych D, depending on the where you're at or what degree you get. And so these individual psychologists can officially diagnose people with mental health disorders.
Okay.
So a licensed therapist can, obviously talk with people, do therapy, but a psychologist is actually able to give an official diagnosis. Okay. And psychologists do both clinical therapy and research. Or they don't have to do both.
Okay.
But they can do one or the other, or some do both. Whereas,
what are you researching?
So you're probably, if you're researching as a psychologist, then you're generally working for either a university or you're working for the government, and you are seeking to understand, emotional behavioral patterns. Even things like genetics are brought up within, the way people act and do. And so
the crazy gene.
Yeah, I guess if you want to call it that. So, but there, when you're doing research, and it's like this with any kind of doctoral research. Even for me, getting my doctorate, you're designing an experiment, right? You're collecting data, and then you've got to analyze that data.
You're almost a doctor.
I am, dude. I'm getting really close.
It's crazy.
I know. So you're collecting the data, you're analyzing the data, and then you're going to end up publishing your findings.
Okay.
So for most psychologists, that means being published in an academic journal.
Everyone's crazy.
Well, if that somehow becomes your conclusion,
there is no normal.
That might be somewhat true.
Normal equals crazy.
Yeah. And so, and then your psychiatrist is a different level of doctorate. So they actually have an MD. And so they're actually able to diagnose and then prescribe medicines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So therapists, counselors and therapists just talk to you.
Correct.
Therapists talk to you longer.
Generally speaking, that can be the way you can just, if you want to try to create a differentiation between a counselor and a therapist, you can say a therapist often will talk longer and deal with more what I would call serious, serious mental health issues.
Longer meaning as long as possible, so I continue making a salary.
I did not say that. All right, and I'll be honest. So most licensed, to make a distinction too, most licensed counselors and licensed therapists are doing pretty similar stuff.
Okay,
it's the counselors that aren't licensed that are doing these kind of like niche things.
Okay,
more often than not. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, and then psychologists. Try to talk to you forever so they can make a good salary, but they also do research in labs.
They can do research.
And then psychiatrists.
Well, and not just in labs, right? Because they're having to deal with
in the field.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then psychiatrists are the ultimate ones who can talk to you forever.
Right.
And then also give you drugs.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You got it.
Why doesn't everyone go to a psychiatrist so they can get drugs?
Yeah. Well, one, there just simply wouldn't be enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there wouldn't be enough psychiatrists to see everybody.
Okay.
And then, I think there's already, like, in our country at least, there's a discussion of like, we have a shortage of mental health counselors and experts. And so we actually need more.
I wonder what the record is for how quickly someone could start seeing a therapist or start seeing a counselor, an unlicensed counselor,
right, to
getting anxiety medicine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
All right. You'll see how fast you can move?
Yeah. I bet you I can do it in 2 days.
How many hoops you got to jump through?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to come in late. Like, I'm so sorry. Oh, no. You know what I mean?
All right. Let me know how that... You do that. Let me know how it plays out.
All right. I'm going to put it on YouTube.
Oh, no. Okay. You can do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.